ever started a new job and the IT guys just throw you a Microsoft Teams account and go, right, go and make it work, go and deal with it, and you thought, how the bloody hell do I make this work? I've never used Teams. In my old job I was a Slack user, and now you've just thrown Microsoft Teams at me. Well, that's exactly what this video is for. So in this video I'm going to show you in a quick 10-minute video, as quickly as I can, how to use Microsoft Teams. It's a bit of a user guide on how to set it up, how to use it really easily, and that's what we're going to do in 10 minutes, so bear with me. Why? Now, we've done it before. I had it with my own employees, right? Brought in an employee, welcome to the company, everyone's really excited to bring you on board. Here's your usernames for all of your devices, your email address, your passwords. Let's get this show started. And then the user went, I haven't got a clue how to chat to anybody on Teams. I can't speak to my procurement team, I can't speak to my finance team, I have no idea what I'm doing. And it transpired that this particular person just hadn't used it. It's not their fault, they just hadn't used it. They were a Slack user, so they came from a previous company where they were all over Slack. And by the way, I haven't got a bloody clue about Slack, so don't throw that one at me. And then we've gone, here's Microsoft Teams, go make it work. That exact scenario happened, and that exact scenario happens over and over again in other organizations, and I'm sick to death of having these conversations, so I'm going to throw a video together. Let me talk you through high level how Microsoft Teams works. What is it? It's a centralized platform to be able to communicate both internally and externally. You can communicate in an informal manner, not too informal.
Ah, cheeky boy.
Check that video out, that I'm going to click a link here, because everything is tracked. So I'll stick a card up, make sure you check that out. But it's an informal manner. You can speak to all of your teams, you can set up teams, you can hold all of your files that you need to hold within your organization. In fact, when we started Sport Group, we held everything on Microsoft Teams and on the SharePoint that comes with Microsoft Teams. It's only as we started getting a bit bigger that we started going out to other platforms. And also, you can use Microsoft Teams for video conferencing as well. So bear with me, I'm going to show you through this. Right, this is the platform that you get. I get Scott, my wonderful editor, just to edit out the blur out the actual details of these conversations, because no one wants to see any of that. Very first thing I'd probably do is on the left hand side here, you've got like a navigation panel, right? So you've got your activity, your chats, your calendar, your calls, etc. I'm going to break these down a little bit for you in a few moments. But the first thing I'd probably point you to, I've got my chat platform here. I'm on the chat activity tab. Well, the first thing, I normally set up my chats to be at the top so I can very easily have conversations with people. But at the bottom, you've got what's called teams and channels. Now, let me show you how this works. So if I click on all teams and channels, I can create a brand new team. So in this example, we're talking about the scenario of bringing a new person on board, right? New employee comes and joins the company. You can create a new team specifically for that reason. Now watch, if I click create new teams from a template on here, what I can do is, there's loads and loads of different templates on here. So let's go on to onboard employees, which is what we're talking about. If I click on that, you can see within the team that I'm creating, you now have 4 channels. So we've got the general, the announcements, the employee chat, and the training. I'll explain what those mean in a couple of minutes time. You can also see that we've got 8 apps assigned already to this specific team. So I'll talk you through that. So if I use this template, I call this the onboarding employee test. Let's call it that. Test for, oh my god, I can't type. Test for employee onboarding. There you go. Let's make this a public channel. You can customize the channels. That takes you back to the page, but I create that, right? That's going to take a couple of minutes just to create. At this point, Scott, you can just cut to the next bit, because I need to wait for the thing to actually be created, which always takes a couple of minutes. Right, so once the team is actually created, what you get here is you get the ability to add members to that specific team. So members of staff that are already in the system. So in this case, let me put Chris Spence, right? I'll put Chris Spence. He's a member. I can select here as a member or an owner. But what I can do is I can start adding members to the, let me put our office manager as well down, Kirsty Fairmore. So I'm starting to add members of the overall organization into this actual team here. Now obviously if you've got a sales team and you're creating a sales team within here, you just put the sales members. If you've got an operations team, you just put the ops members in there. But for the purposes of this test, I'm just going to put Chris Spence, who's my business partner, and Kirsty, who's our office manager. They're adding the team members now. Once that's done, you then get on the left hand side, you can see now here I've got my teams and channels here. Now I mentioned channels a couple of minutes ago. As you can see, I've now got the onboarding employee test team. Now within here, I click on all channels. The channels that I mentioned earlier with the templates, you can see I've got announcements, employee chat, general, and training. So I've created a team. In this instance, it's the onboarding and employee team. And within that, you've got your channels, right? So let's take it one step further. How do I communicate with people within that team? Let's go into employee chat. You can see this is an empty chat at the moment. All I need to do is, much like social media, all I need to do is post within that chat. So I can select the button to post. Then I can just go into here and onboarding employee test. Let's wait to see what Chris Spence's funny comment back on this is going to be. So I am creating this team as a test. What I can do, so obviously this is a message that's going to go to all members of that specific team. But if I want to catch the attention of a specific member, I can then put at. You can see it. The suggestions has already come up. So I'll put at Chris Spence. How does this look? Right. That's what I can do there. What I've done now is I've just sent an employee onboarding test chat. I've copied Chris Spence into it. Now, if Chris Spence, in fact, he's not actually at his desk. I know he's traveling, so I'm not going to get a response. But if I now want to do, let's do a Kirsty test. I am creating a team for testing. Let's at Kirsty. At Kirsty, how does this look? Let's see if she gets back to us. This way we find out she's not working. But yeah, so there we go. So I've added Kirsty in there. She can then reply in this specific thread with this button here. There's all sorts of stuff I can do. I can also, if I want to add attachments into here. So if you've got onboarding training attachments, I go through these documents here. We've got a test file here that I created earlier, which you can put in. We've got if I click on shared at the top, again, this is all within the employee chat here. So there's all sorts of stuff I can do here. If I click on the shared button at the top, the documents, sorry, going back to the documents, I can upload files. This is the test document. You can now see the test file for employees is now within the shared, but it's within the actual onboarding employee test. So if I've got onboarding documents that need to be sent to the new members of staff, you can stick them in here. You can then go back to the employee chat. Let's go back to the employee. Let's go back to the employee general chat, and then I can say at new member, here's the file that you need to read as part of your onboarding, basically. So we can do that. So as you can see, it's a platform that we can use to actually go through those conversations with all of our teams. Let's see if I've had a response back from Kirsty. Let's see. What did I put in? Employee chat. Haha! Kirsty's replied. You can see Kirsty, yep, looks good, Chris score. She's atted me. So she's replied to me. It looks good. Happy days, right? Now, what else can we do from here? Well, there's a number of things. If we go back to the comments on the title on the left hand side, we've got an activity tab up here. The activity tab is activities specifically related to you. So in the instance just to share with you here, Kirsty has already replied to me. She atted me. So she said, at Chris Gore, this all looks great. You can see in the activity tab, I've got a notification here with Kirsty saying, yes, at Chris Gore, this all looks good. You can see a bunch of other things. Kirsty's liked one of my comments here. Justin has mentioned something. Steph's invited me to something. So any activity that's related specifically to me gets held in that activity chat there as well, right? So if I go back to the chat, again, the chats are my individual chats with individual people. The teams are the actual teams chat related to the thing. Now, couple of other things I can do within the Teams chat. If I want, so obviously I mentioned a minute ago, when I created this team, we put Chris Spence, we put Kirsty in this Teams chat, right? what I can do from here as well is I go back to posts. I can start a Teams meeting directly from the Teams chat. So if I click on this top button here, I can either schedule a meeting, which I can click this button, schedule test meeting. All required attendees can be the people that we've just mentioned a few minutes ago. So you can start typing this in here. So let's do, if I can spell. So you can type in the attendees details in here. You can type in optional additional attendees, put in the date, time, etc., etc. When you send this, this automatically sends the link to the invite to the people that you've invited with your Microsoft Teams link. So you can schedule it with that Microsoft Teams link. They click the link and they're into the meeting as well, which is all nice and easy. The final thing that's worth mentioning on this bit is the actual Meet Now. So if I click the Meet Now button, I'm not going to do it, but if I click the Meet Now button, that'll send a meeting. In fact, let's do it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if any of my any of my staff actually answer the phone. So we've got in the employee chat. If I send this Meet Now button, that'll send the meeting to all of our staff, right? So there's a couple of things to really quickly note on here. If you want to change the camera settings, I can change the camera settings to be, at the moment you can see that I'm on my laptop. I've got another camera over here, so I can change this camera settings to be whatever camera setting I want it to be. I can put backgrounds on here. If I want to go onto this swanky background and look like I'm skiing in the middle of the Alps in the middle of the night, or I want to be in a, you know, what is this, a kind of some weird flower field, I can do all of that. I can blur my background, so you can set those settings up there. Once I'm ready to go, join now. Let's see if Kirsty joins us. I can invite other people. This is another link. I can invite other people to join us, right? So let's add, so you can see now the suggestions here. Kirsty, let's see if Kirsty joins us. Here's the test. Kirsty, this is going on YouTube. You better answer this call now. So as you can see, all I've done here is I've just sent a Teams invite to Kirsty. Bet she's not going to answer. What time is it? 11:15. Oh, she might be in a meeting. Aha! Hello! Guess what, Kirsty?
What?
You're now on a YouTube video.
Am I? Am I actually?
Yeah, I'm recording live.
Wait, is this a live stream?
No, it's not live, but you're gonna be in the You're gonna be in the video. So I'm showing people how to use Microsoft Teams, and then I called you. So
Oh, okay.
thankfully you're working and you answered the call. So that's it, Kirsty. Hello, Kirsty. Say hello.
Hello.
I'm going to leave it to it. Crack on with the rest of your day.
That's all right.
Cheers.
I'm glad I popped on makeup today.
Brilliant. All right, Kirsty. Bye-bye.
Bye, take care.
Right, so leaving the call, all I need to do to leave the call, top button here, press leave, that leaves the call. As you can see, I've got into Kirsty's video directly from the actual chat itself. Last couple of things, I'm trying to keep this below 10 minutes. I'm going to ask Scott, my editor, to actually work his magic on keeping this below 10 minutes. Calendar. Did we send the invite a minute ago for the calendar? I can't remember. But when you send any Teams meeting, any calendar meeting, it goes into your calendar here. You can see here's my calendar. That syncs automatically to Outlook. I can then send meetings directly from the calendar tab, which you can see here. You can just create your own meeting, you can put it into here, and then it all syncs automatically with your Outlook. The calls, again, really simply, your organization is all within the calls. You can see a history of all the calls I've made here. You can click on your view contacts within your organization. You can directly call them in the same way as I've just called Kirsty just a moment ago. And then the cool bit, OneDrive is your filing cloud service. You can obviously save all of your files within that cloud. But then the cool bit is Copilot. Everyone's used ChatGPT, right? Everyone's done it. But within Copilot, you have the ability to use prompts in here within your teams, but specifically related to all of the files and the chats and all the stuff that is within Teams, to say, please, you could say, please find the file that Chris Spence sent me about sales performance for Q1 in 2025, right? For example, you could type that in, that'll send you the file. You don't have to go searching for it to try and figure out exactly where you're going. You can see I don't have the upgraded version of Copilot. You don't need it. You can put your prompts in there. It's really simple. One of the best things that I like about the fact that Teams is you can integrate all of your apps. So we use HubSpot as a sales platform. I can integrate HubSpot every time we get a lead, every time we get a connection that a one project, for example, we can set a rule whereby I get a Teams notification that comes up on my activity to say HubSpot, company XYZ has just signed that deal. Congratulations, go and congratulate your sales team, for example. That's how that works. I said this was going to be a 10-minute, really quick, high-level overview on Teams. That's how you set up teams, that's how you set up channels, that's how you talk to your team, and this is all at a basic individual level. But the more important thing about Teams is the ability for it to have the video conferencing capabilities. It is just exceptional, and it's all going to well having an individual laptop which does your Microsoft Teams video conferencing, but how do you take that onto an enterprise scale? So it's meeting rooms. How do you provide meeting rooms that give you the ability to conduct Microsoft Teams rooms? That's what I do with regards to the link below. So check that out. We show you how to fit out an actual meeting room so that you can have Microsoft Teams within that room itself. Check that out in the link below. Now, great, right? This is all good and well, having this set up and chatting in here. But again, technology breaks. It breaks all the time. So how do you fix the technology in a proactive way rather than the responsive, reactive way when you end up with a room offline for 3 weeks? So how do you get ahead of that technology breaking? That's what I discuss in this video here. Go check that out. And if you've got any comments on any more stuff that you want to see from Microsoft Teams, comment in the link below and I'll make another video for you. And hopefully you'll get to see Kirsty again. Enjoy.